Electricast.
Welcome to Her Extraordinary Life by Design, where we celebrate women who are shaping their lives one extraordinary day at a time. I'm your host, Gisele Cadieux, self-care coach for women who are ready to make self-care a priority to support them in life and business. Every week, I'll be speaking with inspiring women from various walks of life who will share their personal journeys and will discover how they have fearlessly carved their own paths as business owners, passionately pursuing their dreams and creating a meaningful impact on their communities. So let's get started. Welcome to Her Extraordinary Life by Design, where we celebrate women who are shaping their lives one extraordinary day at a time. Hi, I'm your host, Gisele Cadieux, and today we're talking with the beautiful, natural-born problem solver, Gisele Cadieux, founder of AdminOption. With a solid background in administrative support, system creation, and customer service, Gisele spent 30 years of her career in the corporate world helping high-profile executives achieve their business goals in various spheres. Growing tired of the corporate environment, she developed a keen interest for the virtual side of administrative support, which led her to start her entrepreneurial venture in 2016 as a virtual assistant. She has since continued to upgrade her digital skills to meet the demands of an ever-evolving virtual market. And I'm really excited that she's carved out time today to speak with me. So let's talk to this beautiful lady. Welcome, Gisele. It's great having you on the show today.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Hello, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I've been really looking forward to our chat. So let's just get into it. Yeah. So let's just start by getting to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
Please share a little bit about your life and how you grew up, and then we'll get into what you're currently doing today. So take it away.
Okay. Well, born and raised in Quebec, Canada, French speaking, to a French family. I started working here and there as like cashiers and all the jobs, and then I found myself as being a receptionist. And I went from there and I grew and I became an executive assistant. And I was an executive assistant for a long time in the corporate world, and eventually founded my own virtual assistance business. So what led me to that was I was in an environment that was very micromanaged, and eventually it weighed on me. I had no way of getting further in the business. They liked me where I was. And at one point, I had little side hustle projects. It was in translation. And one of the person who was giving me those projects eventually asked me, have you ever thought of doing this on your own for yourself as a business? And that made me think. And then eventually I jumped and started on my own. Yep. So what I like to do actually now, I did a lot of admin. I started with translation, did a lot of admin, and now I do a lot of technical assistance. But basically what I like to do is just create peace of mind for entrepreneurs and business owners, peace of mind that their tasks that are tedious for them will be done, and they're fun for me. So it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I know a little bit more of your backstory because there's a really fun side to you as well. And hopefully, I would love for you to share a little bit about that, because I think our listeners would be fascinated to know some of your history around being, as you would call it, in the drummer's circle. And I wanted to just for you to share that because I really love that side of your story. I mean, I know that you've been a part of that with your own daughter, and she's now finished up on that with that in her life, being a part of that. But I want you to share your story and even just a little bit about it, how, you've really stayed in connection with these ladies and have even met up with them from time to time.
Correct. So, yeah, I might shock your audience a little bit if I'll say that my virtual assistance business is not my passion. It really is a means to my purpose. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about purpose and passion later, I think, because I know that you like that stuff. But, my purpose is to evolve. My passion started as, it's my hobby. It's drumming. I did drum and bugle corps when I was younger. And I did rudimental drumming. And now I left it for a while because I had moved to Africa. And when I came back, I started doing it again. I started teaching young teenagers to drum. And then my children got involved. And so I volunteered for their groups. And now one thing led to another. When I was doing drum corps back and when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, I met other girls that drum, that we competed against each other. And we eventually found each other with the venue of Facebook. And to this day, we're still drum together, but we're like scattered, right? Like one is in Washington, one is in California, one is in Chicago, and I'm here in Montreal. But, we're like sisters. We contact each other all the time. And every once in a while, we fly, and we're going to be in Seattle all together. We're going to do a parade. We're going to do some like some little shows and drum together and stuff. So yeah, that's my passion that has led me to lifelong relationships and friendships. So
yeah, I love that. And I wanted you to share that because I love that side of your story. So thank you so much for sharing, because I know sometimes I'm getting personal, right? But I really did like that. And I thought, what a great story to share with the audience, just because it is around relationship building, which is really the heart of what you do. So with that being said, let's talk about your business. Tell us what you do, a little bit more about what you do and how you discovered your passion and purpose and what steps you took to pursue it.
Okay, so what I do, like I said before, I like to create time for entrepreneurs and business people, create peace of mind, tedious tasks, admin or technical. Entrepreneurs, they have like one purpose and it's their business and whatever drives their business. But then there's always those side things that can weigh on you. And so I alleviate those tasks for them. I don't have specific things I do. I think I have discovered that I can serve in many areas. I have always built on my skills ever since I started my business. As I said, I started with translation. And now I can produce podcasts, right, for my people. So it's forever evolving. My business serves my purpose, and my purpose is to evolve personally and of course, professionally. So that's what I do. How did I find my passion? I fell into it. It's not my passion. That's what I did. That's what I'm good at. And I like doing it. So I didn't find my passion and then develop my passion. I mean, it's always been very hard. I think passion is, you can have many passions, right? You don't only have one and you pursue it for life. As you evolve as a human being, as you grow older, there are other interests, and then you become very involved in those interests. But for my business, as long as I love what I do, I strive to serve. And I now, knowing that it doesn't need to be my passion, I can now concentrate on relationship. I care about the people. I don't go out and try to find clients to find money, I care, and I'll do whatever I can. And I'll be, it's just a matter of being open and honest as to what you can or cannot do for them. And then, they decide whether they want to work or not work with you. But I mean, I'm resourceful, so I'm not worried.
Yeah, no. And I love that. And and the reason why I think what I love about what you said is that, you came from a corporate environment with those skill sets and brought them into your own business. And as you were saying, it's not really your passion, it's something you're good at, but you've learned to love what you're good at and being able to serve your clients. And I think that's important. I think a lot of the time, when women are maybe looking to go from being in a corporate environment where someone else is the boss to being their own boss, that they look at it like, I'm trying to get away from this, so to do this, and they stop loving what it is that they're doing, especially if they're bringing those skill sets with them. So I think it's important that even though you said it's not necessarily your passion, the passion project, your passion is, being with your sisters in your sisterhood with the drumming and keeping those relationships and building relationships. that you've learned to still love, or you've continued to love what you do, and you've learned to love it even more because you are serving the people. It allows you to build on those relationships. So I think it was really important that you actually pointed that out, because not a lot of people would be able to look at their current, I guess, career, taking it to like maybe an entrepreneurial part of it, and or even like maybe thinking, okay, can I take that, what I do already, and make it my own and go out and serve as my own boss? Because a lot of the time people think entrepreneurship means starting from scratch. What am I going to do as a business?
Exactly. And a lot of people think that in order to have your own business and succeed in your own business, you need to find your passion and develop that. So that's, I mean, with my research and with my, the courses and all that, I actually read a book recently that is called Unfollow Your Passion. And it's by Terry Trespicchio. And I'll just read a little passage. I actually wrote in my journal, and it was funny because I knew you would touch on the passion side of it. And I don't want to come across as somebody who's just cold and is just doing this for money. I really love what I do. And I really have a great interest in what I do, even though it's not my passion. But she says something to the effect of, because I wrote it in my journal, that hobbies have become side hustles now. And our personality have to be brands. And the things we used to do to relax and unplug and that have meaning outside of what pays the bill aren't just things we like to do, but they're presented to us as potential income streams or ways out of having like traditional jobs, right? This could be a risk because you have to be mindful. If you pursue your passion as a work, as a job, there is a risk that you will fall out of love with it because there are so many side things to it, to owning a business, right? So that's what she says. It's the potential impact of monetizing your passion that has on your life. You might not love your passion. If I did drum, I mean, I love drumming. I love drumming. I'd say it's my passion because I've been drumming forever. And eventually when I retire, what I'd like to do is open a little center and give mindful drumming course for meditation and stuff like that. And that's going to be, I'm going to have, I'm going to be retired. I don't want to do this now. I could do this now. And I could be making money out of this and it could be lucrative. But I know that doing this as a business will take away from the soulful passion of it. For me, it's not for everybody. We just have to be mindful of that, I think.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing it. So can you share a specific strategy or maybe mindset shift that's played a significant role in your success as a business owner?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question, actually. The mindset. Well, so I kind of fell into it. I was in an environment that was micromanaged and it was very stressful. And I decided then that this person tells me, hey, have you thought of doing this? And I started with a small project, and then I got a big client. But my mindset, so I left my business thinking, yay, I'm now a business owner. I'm going to do my schedule. And I have this big client. But my mindset was still the employee mindset. And I was still relying on this one big client for my financial security. So it took me losing this big client after my marriage, collapsing after 30 years. So my marriage collapsed. I went into, like a kind of, I didn't go into a depression, but you know how it is. Like you're in a state of mind that is not really quite level. I lost this big client. And then I lost, everything that came with the collapse of the marriage, like my house and all that stuff. So, I didn't have a strategy. I didn't expect this. So, I didn't even expect to lose my one client because it was somebody I knew very well. So let alone losing everything, right? So I had no strategy. I faced a situation where it was either that would either like push me into self-loathing and depression, or it could shift me into a more positive survival gear mindset. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to survive this, I'm going to need to work on myself. Nothing happens for nothing. We're not perfect. Things happen. Whatever happened that I did, I need to research, and I want to better myself and push, I need to work on myself. So that's what I did. I did a lot of courses. And then when I realized, I knew that I was good at what I was doing. I did not want to go back into the corporate environment that was still toxic for me. I had not been out of my work a year yet when all this happened. So when I realized I don't need, because, you take courses, what's your purpose in life? What's your passion? When I realized that I don't need it to be a passion, I just need to have a purpose to serve, a purpose, for others. That's when it shifted. Because that's when all my relationships shifted. That's when the way I viewed, I didn't want to have my business to make money. I wanted my business to serve people, to do the best. I cared, to care about. So I was doing, I had lost this big client. I still had little projects. And believe me, Leslie, my business works on referrals. I'd say 90% is referrals. So it means something, it means that the relationships I grow, I build solid relationships. So that was the big mindset shift for me. It was the fact that it doesn't need to be my passion, and it doesn't need to be, I need to do this for money, like the employee mindset. I need to find a client and do this for money. It's just, so.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's a great answer, because a lot of the time you're right. People get into business and like that, then the scarcity mindset will settle in, because all of a sudden now we're focused, okay, I have this business. Now I have to make money. Now I got to get clients. How do I do that? Instead of just focusing on how can I better serve the people that I want to serve with the skill sets that I have, and not worry about that, because that'll come.
As long exactly.
as you,
Exactly.
So I love that.
You will build your strategy upon that. Like I had no strategy. All I had going for me was my resilience, right? And so I chose to survive in a positive way. I could have chosen the other way. I could have chosen, to victimize, but poor little me. But yeah, you do that. And then you have tools, you take stock. What do I know? What can I do? And you have tools to go forward and then, develop your business, and then you strategize, then you plan, then, as you go along, you build. I'm still building. I've been doing this since 2016. I've been in the corporate world admin for 30 years, and I am still building, because my purpose is to evolve as a human being. And that means in my business too.
Love that. So which leads me to the next question, which is obviously it's two-part, because I had told you about this, and it's around self-care. So first, let's talk about what self-care means to you and how do you prioritize it in your daily life?
Okay, so self-care for me is respecting who I am, and it's nourishing my body and my soul so that I can move forward in life, But it's really being aware of who I am, respecting who I am, and nourishing my body and my soul to, thrive in life. And how do I prioritize? Well, so there's like several aspects. There's the mind aspect. So it's there's an interesting fact that I learned, in a nutshell, it's our mind doesn't know what's real and what's not real. Our mind doesn't know what's real and what's fiction. So whatever we feed our mind, eventually we'll believe, right? And that can really positively affect or negatively affect our life. So all the negative self-talk, I rule that out. So I do this by meditation, doing affirmation, positive reading, learning. I'm not huge on journaling, but whenever I journal, it's very helpful. Then there's the body part, right? Our body is the only vehicle that we'll have to carry us and our soul and our mind through life, right? So we better take care of it. There's no other bodies. This is what we have, right? So the grooming, I love massages and they're great. Good nutrition, not an excessive. I mean, you have to be social sometimes, but like, just being aware, exercise, relaxation, that's for my body. And then for my soul, stressless socializing, meaning meeting with friends, that I am comfortable with, reaching out to people that I love. And even if I don't see them all the time, not stress about, oh my gosh, I have to invite all these people for dinner because, now it's just like, whatever. I might not be the greatest hostess, but I'm not going to cause you any stress. So, so, and also for me, for the soul is the mindful drumming. I get into a meditative state and get into nature. Park nearby will do, 5 minutes or whatever. So those are the things.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And self-care can change. We could have like a whole toolbox and we pull from some things we like better this month that we want to do for 30 days. And maybe next month we decide, like you were saying, journaling, I'm going to journal for a whole month because I'm in the mood for it. But then other times it's like, okay, I haven't journaled for like 3 months. Let me see if I can open up my book and see what comes. But it really, to me, it's like, it's not an actual like framework that everyone has to follow. It's like what suits your lifestyle for your, like whatever fits you, whatever you like to do, as long as it's nourishing you. So that's how I look at self-care.
Exactly. So, knowing, respecting ourselves and nourishing our body and soul in accordance, right?
Yes, exactly. So then this goes like to the personal and professional life, like them being together. How do you find that balance between the two of them? And maybe what tips you could provide our listeners who might struggle in this area?
Okay. So for me, one thing that is easy is that I work mostly from home. So balancing my personal and professional life is easier because I plan my days around that, right? My days are not just work days. But I think there's a way to do it, even if you are working outside the home. It's just that the schedule might be a little different, So what I would suggest is, so at night, you do your little gratefulness thing or meditation or whatever. I usually take a few minutes. I don't plan to the hours. There are things I know that I do every day, but just like plan ahead your day, the next day, like you won't fit everything, but say like on average, there's 2 or 3 actionable goals that you want to achieve in your business. If you give yourself more than that, you're creating yourself a lot of stress, but and your goals won't really necessarily be a thing. So 2 or 3 actionable goals that you can achieve on a day. And then between that, time for yourself. And it doesn't need to be 2 hours. I have to get up, like when I work sitting at a desk most of the time, and I have to get up every hour or so because of some physical issues that I have. So I get up every 55 minutes for 5 minutes. And then I do something for me. And it can be a quick meditation, but and a lot of the time it's like a little bit of stretching and dancing. I put a song on and I dance and I just kind of, get out of there. So people can do that kind of stuff at work, even if, in the workplace, not dance, but, stretch or go in a state of meditation or whatever, So, and I try to maybe plan to reach out to one person that you love. It doesn't mean to be on the phone and you don't need to talk for an hour, but just reaching out, say, hey, I thought of you this morning, this, that, and the other, whatever, by text, by whatever. You reach out, there's a little exchange, and then it's just like, okay, I'm still connected to the world. That's good for me, So it's just basically try to plan and incorporate both in my days. I'm going to work at night sometimes. But, if my daughter is doing something, my daughter lives with me. If she's doing something with friends and I find myself alone in front of my TV, I might as well work. And then tomorrow, well, you know what? I'm going to have a 2 hour and I'm going to go for a walk or I'm going to go for shopping or, so it's just to I incorporated both together, and of course, when you have your business, you tend to work a lot. So I impose myself one full day that I get off the computer, no email, nothing, a week, at least one. I'm good. Sometimes I do two. So, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that because you touched on a couple of what I really call them essential self-care, which is like the mental breaks. Those breaks are important. Really is just to help you unwind from it, just to detach from your screen time, and just take time like just to be. And then I love one of the things you did talk about was structuring. I think structuring your time or planning ahead is really important. I have two ways. I have my calendar, my Google Calendar has all of my appointments, but then I also have another Google Doc with the times for the day from 7 to 6, and I'll put in whatever set time. What that does for me, it gives me a visual of white space in my day, which is very calming. And I think that's another form of self-care by allowing myself, okay, I know what I have to do. Then I know what I can do for myself in all of this space that's available to me to fill how I choose. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's great. So last question, what advice would you give to women who may be afraid to pursue their dreams or start their own business?
Okay. So, well, first of all, do know that jumping into the unknown is very scary and it's very difficult. You're not alone. Our brain is designed to protect us, not to project us out of our comfort zone. Now, don't think that you have to push yourself outside your comfort zone. If you push yourself outside your comfort zone, you just create discomfort and you might not be in a good place to learn anything or to even act on anything, right? If you understand that doing hard things and scary things doesn't mean that you have to get out of your comfort zone. It just means that you have to push yourself hard, not necessarily out of your comfort zone. Then already you get on a good level, right? So I would say take stock of your skills and take stock of what you could fall back on financially if you're really, really scared. Find a coach or a mentor, to help you structure the initial business plan. If you say, hey, I can't afford that, that's fine. There are what one of my clients actually calls unlikely mentors. And, they're in the form of books, videos, podcasts, contents, whatever can kickstart your brain and help you jot down on paper things to start your business and structure, right? Then start small. If you're really scared of jumping in, just start small. If you project too far in the future, that's going to be that's a dream killer, man. That's just, So if you want to develop, say, a service business, start with one service you'd like to offer and develop that slowly. I started with translation and I did translation only for 3 years. And then, and that was while I was working. And then eventually, this one client told me to think about this full time. And at the same time, I was talking to friends and this acquaintance happened to say, hey, I need a VA. Would you like help? And, that's how it goes. If you want to develop a product-based business, well, start with one product, develop that, You can do a side hustle. Like this side hustling is very popular these days. There are so many ways, but beware. If you start looking into side hustling or anything in business, you're going to get bombarded by so-called opportunities to learn, to jump into this, to jump into that. Choose one. Don't create yourself stress for nothing. Choose one. Choose what you feel fits you at the moment. Pursue that one. Create an action plan now. Focus on that one. Like the squirrels and the monkeys they're just going to multiply in your brain, because if you're on the internet, as soon as you start researching one thing, all the other things happen, so you get established in one. And then if you feel like it's good for you, that it's right for you, then you start pursuing another avenue and then you expand from there. So just start slow. Jumping is hard. Jumping is very hard.
Yeah, but it's worth it when you take the time to really feel it out, what really is, what lights you up. Again, you found passion in what you love to do, and then you were able to find love for what you now do as a business in serving your clients.
Exactly. And my clients helped me evolve. Like I started with translation. This one person says, hey, I need a virtual assistant. She had certain needs. I needed to learn certain things. And then this one person, oh, would you do like some social media visuals for me? Sure. Research that, find out, like that's how it happens after a while. You know what you need to learn. How you eventually instinctively know how to go to the next step, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was thinking about one last question that I wanted to ask you, because I know you have such a strong focus on serving your clients and you creating those meaningful connections. And you've touched on your approach to building and nurturing those relationships. But I want to ask you this: how do these connections contribute to your overall business growth and success?
Well, I think it's just open communication. And I made a difference between being in a corporate world, in a corporate mindset, and being in I own my business, my family business, which is not family, but it's me. And I'm here to serve you. So my clients once we've worked together and I've done a couple of projects, they'll reach out. They'll say, hey, I have a question for you. Do you know how to do this? Or do you know how I could do this? And sometimes, if I feel, wow, yeah, this is really something I want to learn, I'll say, hey, I'm not quite sure how to do it, but I know that I can research it for you and do it for you. And often I'll just offer, I'll do this. I'll spend the time for you. And once I know and I've learned, then you can pay me for whatever service I'm going to do for you, So it's just establishing an open communication and making them feel comfortable enough to ask for what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. It's absolutely been enlightening. One of my favorite things you said was stressless socializing, which I love, because when you go on vacations, as an example, to go visit family, you come back and you're like, I need a vacation from my vacation. So I love the fact that you talk about stressless socializing. You're like, there's no stress to this. Let's just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, so I love enjoy each other's company. Go with the mindset of, hey, take me as I am. This is me now. I'm open. I love you. I'm open to, sharing, but I'm not going to cause any stress because I don't have toothpick to put in my little thing to do the skewers with the tomatoes and the cheese.
Yeah.
No. Just like be there and be open about it. I mean, I'm just like, sometimes like, yeah, I'm not the greatest host, but you know what? My door is always open for you. You're more than welcome to come here. And, the plate is going to be what it is. And, I'm not a bad cook, but I mean, it's not going to be fancy, but, it's like, let's relax and just enjoy each other,
Yeah, no, I love that. And I'm so happy that we are connected. I love, again, what you shared today. And I know that you are amazing at what you do because you've also helped me personally in some of my tasks. So definitely, I'll make sure that the show notes provide our listeners with how they can get in touch with you. You never know, you might have a flood of inquiries about what you do. So again, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Leslie, for having me. I'm always open to chat to anybody, that doesn't cost anything. If you don't find out, you don't know, right? So anyways, and it's via my website, everything is there. So yeah.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're having an amazing day and that you have an amazing week ahead. Until then, keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep designing your extraordinary life one day at a time. Thank you for joining me on Her Extraordinary Life by Design. I hope you've been inspired and empowered by the incredible stories shared on this show. If you enjoyed this episode and the conversations we've had, I would greatly appreciate if you could take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback and support mean the world to me, and it will help others discover the podcast and join our empowering community. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Together, we can continue to learn from these amazing women, uncover their extraordinary journeys, and be motivated to create our own lives by design. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, stay empowered and keep shaping your extraordinary life one day at a time.
Electric Gas.